Oh, hi. Don't mind us. We're just sitting here talking football, waiting for the Buckeye game to start. Oh, did you want to join us? All right, then. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Live from Hollywood Casino Columbus, here's Tim May, the Big Cat Andy Katzenmoyer, and Anthony Rothman.
Actually in the cozy studio today. Happy New Year, everyone. Anthony Rothman, the Big Cat, Andy Katzenmoyer, my boy to my right. And we'll welcome in Tim May from Pasadena in moments. Happy and healthy, my man.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Thank you. This is not your granddaddy's Rose Bowl, is it? In the playoff era, this is now just rung number 2 on the ladder to a national title. 13-0 Oregon versus now 11-2 Ohio State. Andy, Oregon's beaten 3 teams in the bracket, including the Buckeyes. They're undefeated. They are rested, presumably. Theoretically, they have a geographical advantage. But Ohio State is the favorite in this one. Tell me why.
I think it comes down to such a hostile environment in game one, going out to Oregon. And really, Ohio State should have won that game despite all the mistakes they made. That phantom offensive pass interference call at the end to kind of, stop the momentum for Ohio State. So I think, plus Ohio State's coming off against Tennessee looking fantastic.
That's it. I think that's it. I think Ohio State found themselves again in one game, and now that whole, you had to play an extra game, maybe there are certain teams that needed it. And Ohio State may have needed the snapback before they played Oregon. If they would have had to play Oregon right after Michigan, who knows? Maybe if it was in Indianapolis, they would have had a big advantage. We know that. But going into this playoff, it does seem like this sets up. So I'll ask you another very interesting question, and I'll see if it's more philosophical than anything. You never had a glimpse of a rematch in college. It just wasn't that era.
Right.
You never got to play A&M in the non-conference and then meet them again in a bowl game, or Florida State and meet them again. It just wasn't the era. No Big Ten title game. You weren't rematching anybody. Of course, in the pros, you're playing in the division a couple times, but in college, you didn't. So I've been asking myself this week about who has the mental edge taking the field tonight. Oregon, who has the confidence of knowing they won the first meeting, or Ohio State, who has that inherent revenge motivation. Who has the mental edge? Or you're allowed to say it's a wash, but if you had to guess, who do you think has a mental edge? The team that won the first one, or the team that knows it's going to be tough to beat us twice?
Well, I think it's always hard to beat someone twice. When you play them twice in a season, that's always a challenge. So I would say, for me, I always like being the underdog, having something to prove, kind of carrying that chip on my shoulder, and the guys I play with were the exact same way. So I think Ohio State has the advantage simply because they know how they want to spoil Oregon's season.
But here's the
Plain and
difference.
simple. Yeah.
Oregon did all those things I mentioned, undefeated, beat them already, geographical advantage, rested, got the bye, number 1, yet they're the dog. And that's the funny part about it, and that's what they can use tonight. How are we the underdog? And so I think it's a wash. I think this is a coin flip game. Vegas is telling us that. You played in the Rose Bowl. Give me your feeling about the stadiums you've played in. What was Pasadena? You were a true freshman, right?
Correct.
True
Yeah.
freshman going to Pasadena. What was that like?
Honestly, a blur. And it was a different era. I don't think Ohio State or Oregon took part in the traditional festivities for players and teams, stuff like that, just because of the new era and all that stuff. Now, playing in the Rose Bowl itself, there's so much history. Like, the cool thing, going back, my grandmother on my dad's side, actually, right before she passed away in the summer of 85, went to the 84 Rose Bowl to watch Ohio State. She was a big Ohio State fan, went there with some friends, whatever. So that was special to me. Going back there, the last time Ohio State played the game was 84. She was there, and I'm going back, carrying that tradition on. But playing there, honestly, it's a great stadium. I know they did some renovations to it. The field's great. just all the history, all tradition around that. It's always cool to go be involved in that kind of environment.
Were you a little bit in awe of the setting at all? Did it come off as beautiful as you had heard it was going to be with the mountains and the whole deal?
It was a little overcast and rainy when we played.
Oh, that's right, against ASU. It was a little dreary.
To start the game, and then honestly, once the game started, it was like, a blur.
Well, being a true freshman, I mean, obviously you had such a great season. Talking to the big cat here, Andy Katzenmoyer, 96. It's weird, Andy, how it mimics the end of the season this year.
Yeah.
So your true freshman year, you beat Indiana to clinch the Rose Bowl in the second to last game of the season, and then lose to Michigan.
Right, in a tough home game.
Yeah. Same exact thing for this season for Ohio State. But you're telling me that the Rose Bowl for you weren't caught up in the setting or the place or the history. You were still just a true freshman. I'm playing Arizona State. They're undefeated.
Right.
We want to obviously get the bad taste out of our mouths. Arizona State beats us. They're probably getting at least a share of the national title. And so you were more just, it was the game. It wasn't really the place.
Correct. Yeah. The place, it was different because we went out there as a team. We did all the, obviously we practiced, and then we did all the traditional, was it Lowry's State with
yeah, that sounds right.
As well as everything else. I remember sitting down and eating dinner with Richard Lewis, who
the great legendary alum.
Right. Which I honestly, this sounds bad, but I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. In hindsight, I wish I would have taken more time and asked for more questions. But it was a great experience, all in all. Win, lose, or draw. It was a good time, very memorable.
Well, it was memorable, all right.
And of course, we won. So that made it even better.
in dramatic fashion.
Right.
We have a man who has planted the flag in Pasadena many times before. He does it again. The veteran beat reporter, Tim May, from the beautiful Rose Bowl, with us now. Timmy, do we have you?
Yes, you do. And by the way,
okay, we don't have him very well. All right, we'll try to reach old school, maybe on a landline.
Maybe.
We try to string the cans together, and every now and then it doesn't work. And he is technically, you're cut up into that mountain there.
Right.
And when I was there, the Urban's Rose Bowl against Washington, when I was there, you're driving up in there, the cell service isn't very good.
Oh, really?
It's old school. They've got that little golf course right there where they park all the cars and all that. It's a, going to it as a media member versus going to it as a player, you get to see things the players don't really have to commit to memory. But yeah, it is one of those old school locations. The history, obviously, we get it. And I said at the beginning that back in the day and back in your day, it did mean everything. And now it is just, it's a great stadium. It's going to look beautiful on TV today. The kickoff forecast sponsored by Byers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Byers. 74 degrees. Mostly sunny. It'll probably top out, in the second half. They'll be in the high 60s. It'll be just a beautiful day for football. But I come back to Ohio State should feel sharper because they've played and they played great. Now, if they would have just squeaked by Tennessee, maybe we wouldn't think this. Are we putting all our eggs in the basket of the Tennessee game, that now we know they're back? Or do you still have questions that you have to see about their consistency today?
No, I think the reason why the odds makers made the line what it is they look at the way Ohio State's built. And the games that, like Michigan beat Ohio State up front on both sides of the ball, period. Ohio State came in. Indiana couldn't really do that, as far as try to ground and pound and slow the game down. And I don't think Oregon will want to do that. So I think the tempo and the style of game favors Ohio State because how they're constructed. Now, that being said, they still have to block, the guys up front. They still have to get off blocks for on the defense for linebackers and D linemen. So it'll be that kind of game as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chip Kelly has some cool plays lined up his sleeve, like he did against Tennessee.
Both teams played relatively to their ceiling that first game. It turned out to be a one-point game that was solved in the last half a second. We can go back and nitpick everything part of that game. Ohio State gave up a lot of yards, a lot of explosive plays, and still you could probably say should have won the game based on where they were at the end of that game with the ball in their hands. Can they make good tonight and keep that march going to a national title? We'll keep you going. We'll come back with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels. He will call it from that historic stadium. We're coming back. It's the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
When that alarm clock goes off, Morning Juice comes on. The perfect way to dominate your day or just lay around the house. Morning Juice.
Weekdays at 6.
The Fan.
Toyotathon is on. The perfect time to save on a new Toyota truck. Now through January 6th, get a great lease deal or $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 or 25 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or get 3.99 APR financing plus $1,000 APR cash on remaining new 24 Tacomas. With approved credit through TFS. Excludes TRD Pro and Trailhunter models. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Nobody builds trucks better than Toyota. Let's go places.
This holiday season, gather your friends and family at Schmidt's Sausage Haus in historic German Village. Come enjoy the favorite pregame meal, our world-famous Bahama Mama, and those irresistible jumbo cream puffs. It's the perfect way to celebrate the magic of this season. And don't forget to grab a Schmidt's gift card while you're here. It's the holiday gift that keeps on giving. From our family to yours, happy holidays from Schmidt's. Real German food. Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or ColumbusCarAudio.com.
At NJM Insurance, we like to think of ourselves as a symphony. We start with a foundation of doing the right thing. Then we layer in dedicated reps whose priority is you. Add in excellent discount programs. And last, but certainly not least, we put our policyholders first. And the reason we don't use jingles or mascots is because it's just not us. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on The Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and The Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on The Fan app. Thank you and good night.
At Buyers Volkswagen, we believe in giving you options. From browsing to buying, shop online at columbusvw.com or visit us by the airport and work with our friendly brand specialists. During the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, lease select models with 0 down payment, 0 security deposit, 0 first month's lease payment, and 0 do-it signing. Or you can get a new 2024 Volkswagen Atlas for 0.9% for up to 60 months. Come see why it's better to buy from Buyers. Offer good on new 2024 Atlas models. Offered to qualified customers who finance through Volkswagen Credit for up to 60 months. See dealer for details. Offer ends 1/2/2025.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina, and at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Year-end pricing. New Kias under $5 a day at Great Lakes Kia.
$5? You see, Max, the holidays drive everyone crazy. Especially Great Lakes Kia.
Hi, mister. Did you hear? Year-end pricing.
Thanks, kid, but my credit's in the doghouse. No offense, Max.
If you've got a job, you ride.
A job, eh? Go on.
Lease new Kia K4, K5, and Sorrentos. All three under $5 a day at Great Lakes Kia.
That's only $149 a month for 24 months.
New 25 Kia K5 LXS, K4 LXS, and Sorrento LX. Standard with third row seating. All three under $5 a day. Save thousands.
Thousands?
And we have 0% financing.
I'm warm. I'm tingly. I can't take it.
You're happy.
New Kias under $5 a day.
During the season of New Tradition sales event.
Great cars.
Great people. Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus.
GreatLakesKia.com.
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You're listening to the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. The Waterworks Plumbing and Drain team can break through any block. We're standing by to take your call at 614-232-2222. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, he will paint the picture like nobody else for the Rose Bowl tonight. Ohio State and Oregon. The man on the mic is the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels. And we welcome in a nice, happy, and healthy new year to the man. Paul, good to have you. How does it look?
Well, it looks good. It looks like everybody pictures it looking. It looks like what it does for those who've been here or watched it on TV or heard us talk about it on the radio. It is sunny. There's a little bit of wind. The grass looks in good shape. There's tons of people out here doing whatever it is they do, standing around the field. We have no idea what that is, but everything looks as you would expect the Rose Bowl should look.
Yeah, Paul, and so this is the rematch that everyone was waiting for. We thought we'd have it in Indianapolis. We had to wait a little longer for it. We didn't get it. Now the stakes are even higher, and the rematch seems to set up pretty well for Ohio State, at least according to Vegas. I know it's not a big spread. They're less than a field goal. But I was asking Andy this, like, is there a mental edge in this game? Usually the mental edge would go to a team that won the first matchup, but it was so close. And there were so many things to look at, and now Ohio State has found themselves in a big way in that game against Tennessee. Where do you stand on questions you have about Ohio State going into this game and their consistency level?
Well, the first question, Anthony, would be, can the defense acquit themselves better than they did in the first game in Eugene? Because that by far was their poorest performance as far as yardage and field, in scoring and field position, and pretty much every way you could find. We saw all of the deep passes that Dillon Gabriel threw and really put a lot of strain on that secondary. Can this defense get pressure on Dillon Gabriel? They were not able to do that. Can they also keep him boxed in? Because if you remember that touchdown run he had, it was really kind of a backbreaker, even though it wasn't the deciding score. So can they do that? And can this offense continue to play the way they did against Tennessee, especially in that first quarter? Can they stretch the field going deep? Get guys like Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Ibuka involved in it. So those are probably the first questions. And as far as mental edge, you know, Anthony, you got to think that it can work both ways. Oregon's undefeated. They're the Big Ten champs. You got to think they've got a mental edge. Ohio State has to feel like they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because of losing that football game. They've got to feel like they've played better since that game, especially defensively. So you could really look at it working both ways for either team.
Happy New Year, Paul.
Thank you, Andy. You too.
Hey, thanks, man. So what is it about, what's your favorite things? It could be one thing, it could be multiple, about calling a game in the Rose Bowl?
Good question. Because the first time coming here for the 2010 game with Oregon, they had us buried in a corner of the end zone, and Oregon wore very undistinguishable uniforms. So that was kind of a real pain in the you-know-what. You know, I honestly, Andy, I guess for those of us that grew up in the Midwest and those of us that are of the age that remember when the Big Ten champion came to the Rose Bowl, and that was your only route to possibly winning a national championship, and you played the Pac-10 or, you know, the Pac-8, the Pac-10, the Pac-12 championship, there's still a little bit of that feeling. It's, you know, as a kid watching, and old enough to say, watching the 68 team win the national championship on TV, watching the teams in the 70s with Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson and some of those battles they had with the West Coast teams. But then coming here and being able to see it in person after something that, you know, you really just only knew from afar, whether it was watching or listening or reading about it, it really is kind of a neat thing to be able to put in your own eyesight to relay to the listeners what it is that you watched and heard about as a kid and as a fan.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, this is Tim, by the way. I'm down the way a little bit, trying to get isolated, but just so I can talk to you. Mine is this will be my sixth, and is like no other. Like Ryan Day said, the grass is a little greener, the sun's a little brighter, more yellow, as he said, you know, yesterday. It's a totally different exercise for the players and coaches. But I wanted to ask you, I mean, do you picture yourself sometimes having, you know, these luxury moments in your career, and especially to call a game of this magnitude in the Rose Bowl?
Well, it's certainly a thrill to be able to call a game of this magnitude with the stakes that are at hand, and but also you kind of, Tim, take it the same way with each and every game, whether it's against Western Michigan, whether it's against Akron. It's a privilege to be able to do what it is that we travel around our group of 6 that do this. So it's something that you put the same emphasis, the same importance in each and every game. Yes, there is something different and something special about this, and having been fortunate to call games for 2 teams that won national championships, that's a big thrill. But when you get to come to a place that you don't see very often, and even though it was just a couple of years ago we were here, I didn't hear all of what you said, Tim, but you talked about how many times you've been here. This will be the 4th time I've been here for the Rose Bowl game, 5th time overall, including the UCLA game right after 9/11. So when it's someplace you don't get to see very often, when it is a setting with the houses that sits in the hills, that are worth far more than all of our homes combined, when you get to see the mountains, when you get to see the glint of the sun when it goes down behind those mountains, it is something that you appreciate because you don't see it all the time. We get to see great stadiums in the Big Ten on a somewhat regular basis, but when you only get to see this place that often, it is something that really stands out.
Paul Keel's with us, voice of the Buckeyes, setting the stage for the Rose Bowl, Ohio State and Oregon here on New Year's Day. Rung number 2 for Ohio State in their march for a national title. Paul, I think the big desire, everybody coming out of the Michigan game, this was to be aggressive. They started throwing the ball against Tennessee. It was kind of the no regrets game plan. I think the great news about today is that they'll be forced to be aggressive. You have to be against Oregon. You're fighting fire with fire. There's no playing down to anybody today. So I imagine that they can continue that type of a deal, but we know that they want to be a balanced team to the best of their ability. So give me your take on the aggression and the game plan that you think Ryan Day and Chip Kelly will come to the table today with versus the one they came to Tennessee with.
Well, Anthony, I think it has to be responsible aggression. There probably were chances they could take against Tennessee that they can't take against Oregon. I mean, obviously, this is by far the most talented team that Ohio State will have played all year, and an Oregon team that's probably playing better than they did back on October 12th. So I think certainly the aggression to try and get pressure on the passer, but also not letting him out the gate with what Dylan Gabriel is able to do, to be able to execute efficiently offensively. Now, whether that's, going for the big plays early, whether it's trying to get rhythm going to maintain drives and keep the ball away from Oregon's offense, who knows? I mean, that's something that'll be interesting to see. We saw Ohio State do some different things in the game against Tennessee. Will they do some things different in this game that were different from that game? Defensively, we saw some different things. Seeing Jalen Tuimoloau line up in a tackle spot and basically be a spy on the quarterback, Nico Iamaleava. Will they do some of that with Dylan Gabriel because of how he hurt them in the previous game? So there's no question, Anthony, there's going to be some aggression because it's single elimination, one and you're out. But it certainly has to be responsible aggression with the kind of talent that Oregon displays.
Paul, I may have missed it, but the kid that really had a great day against Ohio State, Evan Stewart, was not in the Big Ten championship game against Penn State. Had you heard anything about him, why he missed that game, and he should be good to go today, I imagine?
Yeah, I have not heard anything about that, Anthony, and he did hurt Ohio State. He had 7 catches for almost 150 yards and a touchdown, and he picked up the slack after Trayshawn Holden got ejected for spitting on Davis and Igbinosun. So, that's another part of what makes them so dangerous. But no status that we've been made aware of at this point in time.
They found something last game with certainly going back to Jeremiah Smith. I don't know his over-under on targets or catches will be, but he had a big game against them the first game. You have to imagine that he and Emeka will see their share today.
Well, you would think so, especially given the fact that, Emeka, the last time he was here, he had 209 all-purpose yards in the Rose Bowl against Utah, mostly as a kick returner. So, easier said than done sometimes, but, the emphasis to get Smith the ball coming off the Michigan game where, he maybe could have filed a complaint for lack of support, certainly was something we all looked for. But you got to know that Oregon's looking for that, too. And, this is an Oregon defense that has played very well against the pass. They are number 8 in the nation in pass defense. So, but Jeremiah Smith is a game changer. We know Emeka Egbuka can be a game changer. The other part of it is certainly Carnell Tate showing what he's done on the back end of the season. And don't forget about the tight ends. As of late, G. Scott, with the way he's played, Will Kazmarek, who got hurt in that game against Eugene, but has come back and played well. So, but, getting the 2 guys you mentioned, Anthony, Egbuka and Smith, getting the ball in their hands is going to be vital.
Listen, I don't think they ever lost confidence. I think that what happened is in a tight game against Michigan, they played not to lose, and they lost. But have you ever, all the year, Paul, this season, you've talked to coach, you've talked to the players, have you ever felt more confidence coming off what they had last game than all season?
I'll tell you what it was, Anthony, and not so much confidence because, not giving away trade secrets, but we got our pregame interview for our pregame show with Ryan Day done yesterday. But doing that on the heels of the press conference that he had with Coach Lanning, and, getting a chance to do that all season with Ryan Day, sitting there and doing that yesterday, there was a steely, focused look. It was... not sure if I'm doing justice to how to describe it, but he was, he's always so good about doing all of that. So, let's not say that it was anything different, but there was just a composed, steely confidence, almost. And aggression would be too strong a word, but almost a strong purpose that he was exuding while still being as good as he is about doing all of that. And he was very conversational in the interview and talking about, as he always is, about the things that he's done. So confident, that wouldn't be the first thing. Probably yes, but just how direct he was about what it is they have to do.
All right, well done, my man, as usual. We appreciate it, and Happy New Year to the rest of your crew. We'll talk to Jim in a little while. Thank you so much.
All right, best of the new year to you guys.
Yep, thank you. Our chat with Paul Keel, sponsored by the Waterworks Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, a proud sponsor, of Ohio State Athletics. When we come back, we'll try to reestablish with Tim May in Pasadena. He's so money. Who needs to shine today? We'll talk about it next here on the Fan Tailgate Show on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. To inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns, call 614-232-2222. Or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
Toyotathon is on, and it's the perfect time to wrap up the year with a new, stylishly affordable Corolla. Now through January 6th, you can get low-rate financing or a great lease on a new Corolla or Corolla Hybrid. Lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE now for $219 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Bishop and Friends.
There's a little more than half the teams in the league who don't have their answer at quarterback. This draft, Cam and it's Shedeur.
Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers.
Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
This holiday season, gather your friends and family at Schmidt's Sausage Haus in historic German Village. Come enjoy the favorite pregame meal, our world-famous Bahama Mama, and those irresistible jumbo cream puffs. It's the perfect way to celebrate the magic of this season. And don't forget to grab a Schmidt's gift card while you're here. It's the holiday gift that keeps on giving. From our family to yours, Happy holidays from Schmitz. Real German food.
It's back January 10th through 19th at the Ohio Expo Center. The Ohio RV and Boat Show, brought to you in part by Park National Bank. 3 enormous buildings with dealers that have brought the best selection of RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf cars, and more. Wide open aisles, tons to see, fun for all. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 10th through 19th. From towables to drivers, jet skis to pontoons, and more. It's all here. Join the fun. One-stop competitive shopping. Get tickets online at OhioRVandBoatShow.com.
Get ready for the day with 10 TV News this morning.
Our 10 weather impact forecast is easy to understand and focus on when, where, and how the weather will impact you.
Time saver traffic, getting you to work on time.
Plus, the latest breaking news from overnight and what's trending right now.
We're always looking to keep you and your family safe, to save you money and keep you healthy.
This is Morning News on your time. It's time for 10 TV News this morning. Live and streaming on 10 TV Plus.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone from my team at Valley Ford of Columbus. 2025 is here, and as a real Valley Ford customer, I urge you to get online to see all the New Year savings at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. Ford F-150, Bronco Sports, Mustang, Mach-E's. Valley has the massive selection to choose from, plus the lease and financing deals that have you rolling into 2025 with huge savings. Go to valleyfordofcolumbus.com today for all the details. That's valleyfordofcolumbus.com.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. Happy New Year's Day and happy game day, everybody. Today it's Ohio State taking on Oregon at the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. Kickoff in Pasadena is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Network coverage with Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, Matt Andrews, and Skip Mossick will get started at 3:30 right here on The Fan. Elsewhere in the CFP, things got started last night in Glendale. That's where Penn State beat Boise State 31-14 in the Fiesta Bowl. We got 2 other games today along with that Ohio State-Oregon game. The first of those 2 games is already underway right now in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl. Texas leads Arizona State 14-3 early in the second quarter. And in the nightcap tonight, it's Notre Dame against Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. Kickoff in that game is at 8:45. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, your F-150 headquarters and the official dealership of Carnell Tate. Breaking sports news. What happens on The Fan? Ohio's sports destination.
Are you ready for another Buckeye victory? Because we sure are. You're listening to the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
All right, he's so money. Back at it, getting you ready for Ohio State and Oregon. Super Fight 2 on the way to a national title. Tim May will join us in moments from Pasadena. Andy Katzenmoyer to my right. I'm Anthony Rothman. We wish you a happy and healthy new year. Hopefully it'll start out on a victorious note for Ohio State. Andy, I will say this, that when I think about Oregon and what they are and how tough this is going to be defensively, I think we all get that. I think we go into it knowing you're not going to hold Oregon to 17 points today. It just, you don't think it's going to happen. But I think the thing to point out is that Oregon is a team that has to almost outscore their defense. They have to pick up their defense. Now, they get Birch back. They feel a little healthier and rested. I think what really opened my eyes to what Ohio State could do is when I saw Penn State have 523 yards of offense against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. Now, they lost because it's very hard to outscore Oregon, especially if you're Penn State, which, by the way, now suddenly, even though they've been double-digit favorites in 2 games, looks like they are very balanced. But when I think about what what Penn State was able to do against Oregon in their last game, it almost makes you feel like Oregon's defense has gone a little bit south over the second half of the season, and that they believe now that the best defense is a great offense, and they have it. But I think that there are yards to be had tonight. We know that. But give me your thoughts on, if you can think about Oregon and what they've looked like lately. They struggled to win at Madison, 16-13, and they also, and I pointed this out earlier in the year, they're the only undefeated team left. It's not easy to have to go 16-0.
Right.
It's almost like you get one, we're good. We don't have to worry about losing anymore because we already lost one. They're protecting that in a way, just the psychology of not knowing that they've ever lost a game. They haven't experienced that before. But give me your take on Ohio State's offense, what you expect tonight against this Oregon defense, because everyone knows that's going to be the key to obviously be able to outscore them.
I think what Ohio State will definitely has already gone back. You know, obviously they watched the film to figure out what happened the first time, and then they may have rewatched the film again and broken it down, you know, from a different point of view later on, and then now a third time. They'll be the game plan they'll have for Oregon will be very different from the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I don't even think that was necessarily the issue. It's just you can't make mistakes on the offense. You can't have penalties. You have to make sure you secure your timeouts. So, you know, play calling, personnel grouping. I mean, Chip Kelly will have to be on the ball tonight, period, for Ohio State to give themselves the best chance for success. But I think it'll be a similar style where they're going to try to figure out what Oregon will come out and do and then move players around on the perimeter to manipulate matchups and to, you know, get Smith the ball, you know, try to get one-on-one, move the safety out of there, or occupy the safety by having Mbuka run across the middle, you know, occupy that safety and keep Smith open. It'll be that kind of stuff I can see them doing. Once they get the pass game rolling, then the run game will open up in the second half. That's kind of how I see it. And then if we can dictate what the defense has to do, then that'll be just more, you know, a great sign for Ohio State. As far as the first game, you know, I felt like we were kind of always, when I say we, Ohio State, I felt like Ohio State was always kind of reacting to what Oregon was doing, where games against, you know, Indiana, Tennessee, those teams were having to react against what Ohio State, and Ohio State just kept on moving forward. So we talked about it all year about Ohio State coming out playing fast. We didn't talk about it against Tennessee for whatever reason, but Ohio State came out really fast against Tennessee. And so I think if Ohio State can come out fast again tonight, you know, get Oregon reeling, that'll bode well for the big picture.
Yeah, I think both teams hoped they could start fast in a very cold game at the Shoe, because if Tennessee would have started fast, it may have been helpful to them to keep Ohio State's mentals in a weird place, like back in the Michigan place. But Ohio State started that game with a wide receiver screen, and we knew it was on. I think just calling that play on first down, the first play of the game, no matter what it did, I think it set a mindset and a tone. We're willing to throw the ball, and we're willing to throw it early. They benefited with an early face mask, or they would have gone 3 and out.
Yeah.
And then they wound up scoring. Sure. So they took advantage of the breaks they got.
That face mask was
the big start of the
huge.
game. Yeah, it may not have changed the outcome overall, but it certainly affected the beginning and the landslide that happened early.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think Caleb Downs even fumbled a punt, but got it back.
But I'm telling you, as a defensive player, you go into someone else's, stadium. Obviously, it's Ohio State. Massive, huge game. They go early.
3 and out.
And they got a punt. That's a huge momentum shift versus then getting a penalty. And then obviously Ohio State took advantage of it.
Let's try to reestablish with our man Tim May out in Pasadena. All right, we've done the bubble gum to the cans and the string, and we're hoping we got you now, my man.
Yeah, I mean, can you hear me before I go on and on and on?
We have you. Yes.
Yeah.
We have you.
That's great, Anthony.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on, but I hear you fantastic. And, you know, the whole thing, I just dropped a story on LettermanRow.com about the importance of visualization in a game like this, especially for the quarterbacks. And the fact that they've played these guys before, now they know the speed of Evans and of Tez Johnson. And, you know, they know that Dylan Gabriel can snooker you and pull the ball down and run 27 yards. I mean, that is huge in a game like this of having played someone before. And now they've got to come up with kind of new ways to snooker you. But you're right about, as you were talking about Oregon, people started figuring them out offensively as the year went on. But at least they had this, and I know the Big Cat, you know, agrees with this. They still found ways to win the games, you know, and that's all that matters this afternoon is getting that W. And but let's face it, man, their defensive game against Penn State was an eye-opener. Because Penn State, I don't think any of us had called that a great offense. And they finally started throwing the ball a little bit more and being a little more bold, for one of another term. And you saw what they did. They made a game out of the Big Ten championship game. And so I think Ohio State's looking, you always look at where other teams have success, both offensively and defensively against these teams. And I think Ohio State feels like it's worthy of being in this fight. But you still got to go out and get it done. And that's the main thing. They know the mistakes that cost them in the first game cost them huge. And if you can avoid those, you have a great chance of being in the fight at the end.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, thanks, Tim. We'll reestablish when we can, and we'll get him out of the kitchen. It sounds like things are breaking and falling, but hey, he's doing a pro's job right now. He is right about one thing, and I'd have to almost go back and look at it, but Penn State had 2 100-yard rushers against Oregon that night. They didn't win the game, but they were able to do something on the ground as well. And I know Ohio State fans, all they want to do is throw the ball now, because when they throw it, great things happen. But they still need that running game, and they will need it tonight, and then need to stop Jordan James. He had a good game against them too. So I think what happens in these games, Andy, and we'll talk about it when we come back with Jim Lachey, is that you think it's going to be an exact replica of the first game. That's what you've seen.
Never is.
And I don't know if you can have that exact replica.
So the similar, do we have time? Yeah, the similar analogy for me is my last year in New England, we played the Rams at home and got smoked. I mean, they were the greatest show on grass that day, because we played, obviously, we're not on turf. But so then when we had a rematch against them in the Super Bowl, we knew that the game plan that we had going in was exact opposite. We tried to play lots of man-to-man the first game, which Ohio State did against Oregon. And then, so I see tonight Ohio State coming out playing kind of a hard cover 2, maybe some cover 3, throwing some zone dogs, that kind of stuff, and just spy on Gabriel. Just a very different game plan.
Yeah, that will be very curious to see. All right, He's So Money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union, and we'll come back with Jim Lachey. This O-line, how will it hold up tonight? Oregon gets a fairly big piece back on the end. We'll find out the challenge of that. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid, right here on The Fan.
Join Bobby Mack and Jody Shelley for The Inside Edge, a behind-the-scenes look at all things Blue Jackets.
Wednesday night at 7.
Your home for Jackets hockey, The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Ohio State captain Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
Cody Simon.
You get the right car at Reichert.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Hey friends, Beamer here. You know what sold me on Awaken 180 weight loss? Losing 12 pounds in my first week. I mean, wouldn't you be all in after that? But you know what's really got me completely hooked? I'm now down 19 pounds in just 2 weeks. 19 pounds. Look, when I started the program, I knew that I needed fast results to stick with any program I was going to do. And I thought, hey, if I can lose 5 or 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that's going to be a win. Well, I blew that out of the water, all thanks to Awaken 180. I'm not the only one who did it. Our good friend Austin Ward, he dropped 17 pounds in his first 2 weeks, 50 pounds overall. The results we're having, they are real, and we did it without meds. We did it by eating to lose weight with the coaching to ensure we lose weight every week. More importantly, to ensure that we enjoy the process. I, for one, certainly am. I mean, who wouldn't want someone else to do the work? They plan out the food you like, work around your schedule, and you, well, you lose weight. Simple as that. I dropped 19 pounds in 2 weeks. It's that easy. Do what we all did. Start your year out with the solution for weight loss. All at awaken180weightloss.com.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches, and our new hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all of the best-in-class equipment we've always had, with most clubs open 24 hours, so you can work out your way on your time. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 10th. See Home Club for details.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Year-end pricing. New Kias under $5 a day at Great Lakes Kia.
$5? You see, Max, the holidays drive everyone crazy. Especially Great Lakes Kia.
Hi, mister. Did you hear? Year-end pricing.
Thanks, kid, but my credit's in the doghouse. No offense, Max.
If you've got a job, you ride.
A job, eh? Go on.
Lease new Kia K4, K5, and Sorrentos. All three under $5 a day at Great Lakes Kia.
That's only $149 a month for 24 months.
New 25 Kia K5 LXS, K4 LXS, and Sorrento LX. Standard with third row seating. All three under $5 a day. Save thousands.
Thousands?
And we have 0% financing.
I'm warm. I'm tingly. I can't take it.
You're happy.
New Kias under $5 a day.
During the season of New Tradition sales event.
Great cars.
Great people. Great Lakes Kia.
In Columbus.
GreatLakesKia.com.
To qualified buyers, visit GreatLakesKia.com for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy New Year. Today, it is going to be cloudy, cold, and dreary. We will see a few snow flurries from time to time. Today's high will be around 35. Tonight, we drop it on down below freezing. Then we get a little bit more sunshine on your Thursday with a high of 34. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Got your game face on? I mean, have you actually painted your face? Good job, buddy. It's game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Chevy.
The Fan. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
If you're listening to the Buckeyes, you're listening to us. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lachey.
Sponsored by Schmitz. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
All right, almost 700 yards of passing in the first game combined with Ohio State and Oregon when they first met in October. Ironically, no sacks on either side. No one got home. There were big plays, obviously, to be had, and Oregon gets a pretty big piece back tonight in Jordan Birch on the defensive end. We bring in our All-American Jim Lachey, who will be on the call. Happy New Year, my man.
Happy New Year to you guys.
Give me your take on that with Donovan and this crew and how they found themselves, but now they've got a different piece, a different challenge to go up against in Jordan Birch on the end. How do you think they'll handle it?
Yeah, looking at game one, there's a whole different defensive line. Josh Simmons obviously there at left tackle for about, a quarter and a half before Zed Michalski came in and replaced him in that second half. And and then you had, obviously Seth McLaughlin was playing center for Ohio State. So now in the rematch, you got Donovan Jackson, a three-time All-Big Ten offensive guard, shifted out to tackle. And, honestly, guys, I think he's doing a heck of a job. He's got 36 starts under his belt, so he's very veteran. And he's going to have his best game. Obviously, when you go against this Oregon Duck defensive front, Josh Fryer, he's played a lot of football, been involved in a lot of games, 26 starts underneath his belt. He's going to have his best game. Really, everybody in this team is going to have to step up and play at their highest level. You can't slouch against Oregon, especially what that game was. And, and then, Jordan Birch didn't play against Ohio State that first time, and he's going to be back. And, he's a real dude. He's 6'6", 295. He's got all the moves. He's got speed. He's just a terrific athlete, playing with limited time. He still has 8.5 sacks. And then on the other side, you got to worry about Mateo Uyunglele. He's got 10.5 sacks on the season, so both their bookends are strong. Inside, Derek Harmon's been very, very impressive. So they got some, guys that can step up and make some plays on that defensive front. And then, Betcher, their linebacker's been awful good all year long, very athletic. Baza, he's back again. He was a little bit nicked up that first game. So they got some different pieces, but you got to protect them. How do you counter that? Well, you got to get rid of the ball quick. You can't have 4 and 5 second drops. You got to, make sure that, like we did against Tennessee, you move the pocket around a little bit. You have some quick hitters. You have some screen games just to get those guys moving and running. And, that's going to have to be the game plan for Chip Kelly and this Ohio State offense. As you mentioned a little bit earlier as I was listening that, over 500 and some yards of total passing or 600, 700, close to whatever it was. One of the best games that Will Howard had throwing the football. He was very efficient. And that's going to have to be the case again. And, but on the other side, they got to worry about Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Buka. What do you have, 10 catches last time he played against them? You got to worry about Carnell Tate. G. Scott's been stepping up and making some plays. So we got some dudes that they got to worry about too. But it all starts on that offensive line. If they get protection, they get some ability to, to run the football a little bit, to take a little bit of heat off that passing game. That'll be huge for Ohio State today.
Absolutely. Happy New Year, Jim. Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, so, my look, so you've had this before, and I know I have, like when you have a rematch against an opponent, non-divisional, obviously we did this in the NFL, where for me, I can correlate this game to being like how we played the Rams my last year in New England. We played them at home, they worked us. And then we played in the Super Bowl, and we had a very different game plan for them, and actually we obviously won the game. They blamed that we were too physical, whatever. But we ended up winning the game. So do you see a different game plan for Ohio State this round or this matchup against Oregon? Or be something similar?
No, I think so. And they're going to take some pieces that worked and try to expand on that. Maybe have some play action off of that, or some little wrinkles. To kind of show them, hey, they're going to come back and do this again out of this formation, and then have a wrinkle off of it. But you're right. In the NFL, when you play, the Giants, when I did twice a year, you're playing the Eagles twice a year, Cowboys twice a year, and at that time the Arizona Cardinals were all in the NFC East. That second game around, you got to change your calls up. Right. You can't come out with the same calls because, hey, they give them a little bit of credit. They're going to figure that out, So you got to change things up a little bit. You almost have to have two different game plans when you're going in games like that, and games like this where you do get a rematch. In the NFL, it's a little bit more familiar. Coaches understand what they got to do. Ryan Day spent some time in the NFL. Chip Kelly spent some time in the NFL, so I think they understand that you have to go out there and switch things up when you get that second rematch, and then. Andy, I think psychologically, it kind of works maybe in Ohio State's favor. Hey, we're hungry, right? We got beat. We know that taste of defeat. And
I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah.
They got the taste of victory. So, and maybe even in preparation, that's what it's going to be. Keep leading up to this game. Once you get out there, you just go out there and do your job. But the preparation, I'm sure Denzel Burke's watched a heck of a lot of film, on this game because he wants to come out and have a better outing. And I'm sure our offensive line's watched a heck of a lot of film. Has that taste in their mouth. And our defensive line, is probably bitter. Hey, no sacks. We've had 22 sacks in our last 7 ball games, but we didn't have any sacks against Oregon. So I think there's that hunger factor that, kind of goes to the team that lost earlier because, you're on edge. You know what can happen because it did the first time around. Now you got to figure out ways to prevent that from happening again. So, and let's go to Ryan Day, too. He's going to have to prepare these guys and be involved in all those special situations that came up because I think Dan Lanning's been pretty good this year in those situations. We had that onside kick, boom. That was the change of possession that we had a fumble. They had the 12 men on the field to milk some time off the clock there. So you got to be alert in these special situations, and Ryan's going to have to be on top of his game along with the assistant coaches in his ear to make sure that we understand every little series, every little play within those series is going to be important in a rematch.
Hey, Jim, I'm just wondering, played the National Football League with some great matchups. And I was talking with Josh Pryor the other day. He didn't get to go against Birch in that first game like we all built it up for. And then all of a sudden, now here he is again. He's looking forward to it because he knows a lot of people are going to be watching.
Did you look forward to those kind of matchups?
No, I did. Yeah, I mean, heck yeah, because I remember playing against LT when I was with the San Diego Chargers, Lawrence Taylor with the New York Giants, and I remember everybody does when he broke Joe Theismann's leg, and just a couple weeks earlier, and we played him a couple weeks after that, and all I could think about is Dan Fouts laying on the field with a broken leg. Needless to say, I didn't sleep well that night before that game, but you have to go out there and play well, and I ended up playing pretty well, and I think that's why I ended up getting traded to the Redskins, later on, because I could block LT at that time, and that was just something that when you get these big time matchups, you have to do your job, and everything has to be perfect, and you got to. As we talked about, it seems like a lot of this year, you got to be really physical with your hands, heavy hands on these guys, but yet you have to have them where they can be loosey-goosey, because you don't want to go in there and just put your arms out there and get them slapped down. So you got to be really quick with your hands, get a punch, because if you can stop his feet for a second and make him restart the defensive line, that they're going to have a counter off of that, but if you can stop their feet, make them re-rush, so to speak, restart, generally the ball's going to be gone. So that's going to be key for Ohio State, is having good technique, not turning to the sidelines, don't get your feet crossed up, have a good base and a good strike. And, I think that's an opportunity for Josh Fryer, because, as you mentioned, everybody's looking at Jordan Burch as, number one type, player in the NFL, first-round draft pick type player. So you have to, if you can go out there and excel, then certainly that's going to move your stock up and give you confidence, down the road to what he's going to have to do. So that is something that I think, again, it comes in preparation, because when you get out there, if you haven't prepared for it, it's too late, But again, we talk about these guys, our offensive tackles, working against pretty good defensive ends, and Jack Sawyer and Tui Maloa every day in practice. So you got to understand that. You got to take that to this next level to the game, and I think our guys are capable of doing it. Now they have to go out and get it done, and I think game planning helps, moving that pocket around, getting rid of that ball quick. You can't stand in that pocket forever. And as Coach Tressel used to say, some of the best throws are just getting the ball rid of it. You don't take a sack, you throw it out of bounds, you kind of live to play another down. And sometimes that's going to be the case today.
All right, Jim, great job. Nice setup. Enjoy the call. We'll be listening. Thanks.
Looking forward to it. It's a beautiful day out here in Pasadena.
I'm sure it is. Enjoy, my man. Thank you.
All right, bud. Yep.
Jim Lachey on the Fan Tailgate Show, sponsored by Schmitz in German Village, the perfect place to continue to celebrate the holidays and throughout this season. Schmitz in German Village. When we come back, Andy, a stat that could spell good news for Ohio State in a certain area, and one guy that absolutely needs to have redemption tonight. That's on the Fan Tailgate Show next, right here on the Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Toyotathon is on. Our biggest event of the year is better than ever, with our biggest and best selection, including the best-selling Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time, with available all-wheel drive. Now through January 6th, you can lease a Camry LE from just $259 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing, with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first, because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Combat falling interest rates now. Lock in a 7-month certificate from Kemba Financial Credit Union and earn up to 4.5% annual percentage yield. Visit Kemba.org for details. Hurry! This exceptional rate offer expires December 31st, 2024. APY equals annual percentage yield. Restrictions apply. $500 minimum deposit required to open and earn stated APY, and $250,000 maximum deposit. Advantage status required. Federally insured by NCUA.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or columbuscaraudio.com.
What's better than cheering the Buckeyes on to victory? Wearing our exclusive collection of OSU jewelry as you watch. Hi, this is Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We're an officially licensed jeweler of The Ohio State University, and we've created beautiful Buckeye jewelry that will last a lifetime. From Blocko earrings to Diamond Script Ohio necklaces, we've got luxury Buckeye gifts starting at $99. No matter where you're watching, show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Ohio State captain Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them.
Cody Simon.
You get the right car at Reichert. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Taking out the trash.
That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. Happy New Year's Day and happy game day, everybody. Today it's Ohio State taking on Oregon at the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. Kickoff in Pasadena is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Our network coverage with Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, Matt Andrews, and Skip Mossick will get started at 3:30 right here on The Fan. Got a bit of breaking news here as far as the rest of the CFP goes. Tonight's Sugar Bowl game between Notre Dame and Georgia, that is being postponed 24 hours due to the attack in New Orleans that happened earlier this morning. That game will be now played tomorrow night on Thursday night at 8:45. Elsewhere, the quarterfinals got started last night in Glendale. That's where Penn State beat Boise State 31-14 in the Fiesta Bowl. And we have one other game today ahead of Ohio State, Oregon right now at the Peach Bowl. Texas leads Arizona State 17-3 late in the first half. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. The best Bronco sports selection is at the official dealership of Carnell Tate. Breaking sports news, what happens here on The Fan.
Hello, I like football. I have nothing clever to say. This is the Curtis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All right, inching closer to the Rose Bowl, Ohio State against Oregon. Ohio State, 2.5-point favorite tonight in the rematch. I mentioned a stat, kind of more of a ranking of where Oregon is, and I was hinting at this earlier in the show about their defense. And so they have fallen out of the top 50 now, Oregon, in broken tackles allowed. And when you start talking about second-level runs and trying to get through that first initial attack from Oregon, with Travion and Quinshawn and trying to get some home run points, it's probably the last thing Ohio State fans want to hear is forget about the run. We're passing. We're throwing to Jeremiah every time. We're either getting a pass interference or he's going to catch it or it's going to be a touchdown. There's no more running, right? And I know I'm just exaggerating for effect here, but I do think that that's a real thing in a balanced game where if you have a team that has fallen out of the top 50 in that kind of stat. Now, I'll ask you this because you're the guy that would be able to answer that. Is that an overrated stat, or is that something that's telling that they've fallen out of the top 50 in broken tackles allowed? Real or not? Real or fake?
Honestly, I've never even heard of that stat.
Some teams are better at getting guys on the ground than others, clearly.
Right.
I think it's an epidemic. Nobody wants to tackle anymore. All they want to do is hit. They bring the shoulder.
Right.
The hands and arms don't come along for the ride. They want to blow guys up.
They don't wrap.
And I have no problem with it to some degree when you're dealing with a receiver because you're trying to separate man from ball. But when a guy's running, these guys don't tackle anymore. They just want to bring the thunder with the shoulder.
Well, there's a time and place that you as a defender that if you're the first person there, you want to slow the guy down and give your guys time to rally. But you always want to secure the tackle, and then if I know that it sounds dumb because considering the tackles I've had and the impact they were, but even a tackle I had against Corby Jones, which is probably my most famous play from my days of playing at Ohio State. I wrapped up and ran my feet through him.
And you also had him near the sideline, am I wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he was like, because he couldn't go any further to his left. And literally, I'm just running downhill, so he couldn't cut inside. And he just, again, I don't know how he didn't see me, but he just finally looked over, and I just put my helmet right in his chest like you're supposed to. So,
but your mindset when you arrived at a ball carrier was to hit or hit and wrap?
So I'll say that. So when it came to, let's say I was out in the flat, which is out in the flat, and I was one-on-one with a receiver or a running back who was quick, I didn't care how I got the guy down, but I had to get my hands on him.
Yes, use your hands.
And I just that way that if and I had to use the sideline or angle to be able to manipulate him to make sure that he didn't have a two-way go. He couldn't go to my left or my right. He could only go one direction, and that way I could then get my hands on him, and then from there, if someone else came and cleaned up, have at it.
But do you believe that the art of tackling is still taught and coached the same? You think that guys?
I think it's different. I mean, I think it has to be different. Again, we were back when I played, we were taught to, have your forehead on the chest plate of the person you're trying to tackle. Now, you head across the ball carrier, that kind of stuff. Nowadays, they teach head behind, like the rugby style tackling, where you just kind of go down to their legs and just get them down. But it's not the same. Like
guys weren't hurdling you.
Correct. Yeah,
that's my point.
Right.
Today, everybody wants to come in like a torpedo,
right?
Which I understand going low is good. But watch a guy like Antoine Winfield tackle, a guy that's half your size.
Right.
And he was one of the greatest tacklers I'd ever seen.
Oh, he was. If you got around him, you couldn't. He tackled differently than I did, but there was no doubt that he could tackle.
Yeah.
And he got guys down. I'm like, I don't know how he did it. Sometimes.
Now the guy that needs redemption tonight, and we'll bring in Tim May for this from Pasadena. Tim, I believe we have you again as you're doing your best out there for us. Give me your take on Denzel Burke. He gave up 162 yards to the Ducks, and he's allowed just 120 in 7 games. Against, I think, 18 targets. He's actually truly improved since that game, but now he's going back. This is Buckner going back into Shea. This is a very tough situation. What's your confidence in Burke tonight against the same Duck offense?
I talked to him the other day like a bunch of other people did, because what a rematch, right, for him. I mean, this postseason is almost for Ohio State to make do on everything that went bad in the regular season. And but the bottom line is he seems quite focused. He kind of got caught in a whirlpool a little bit the first time around, because Oregon had not thrown the ball down the field almost at all going into that game, and he bit a few times on a couple of things, which really cost him. And they've changed some things obviously defensively since the game. Number one, they almost always have a safety over the top now. They didn't do that in that game very much. They've gone to a much more of a blitzing style up front, but not just selling out blitzes, but always having an extra guy, it seems like, on the pass rush, which has paid dividends for him. You know, as we all know, the famous stat, Dylan Gabriel wasn't sacked in the first game. Well, golly, you know, you give any competent, you know, especially a quarterback of his capability, just to have that time to little pump and go and stuff and get guys open is going to help you. So, but he feels quite confident. I mean, you know, you've been around Denzel Burke. He's one of the more confident people I've ever covered at Ohio State, except for Andy Katzenmoyer, the big cat.
That's right.
But yeah, exactly. But Tom, you know, all that matters is what happens here in a couple hours. You know, he knows that. I mean, he can talk about how he's learned to be maybe not so eager to get in on a play, maybe over eager, and let the play kind of come to him. And as he said, his big line going into this game is just be me, meaning do what I do best, which is get on somebody and stay on them like Denzel Ward was. I mean, Denzel Ward could, like, I call it mirror wide receivers, and just every step they took, he took, so to speak. And that's what he wants to be. And yeah, he got a little over eager a few times and cost him big time. So that's key tonight, is not maybe you give up a chunk play, but don't give up a chunk play for a touchdown is going to be so huge in this game.
Yeah, well said, man. You're coming in crystal clear now. So we'll be coming back to you in moments. I want to tell everybody that's jealous they're not in Pasadena like we are. 74 degrees, mostly sunny at Kick. Your kickoff forecast sponsored by Buyers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Buyers. See, I just left it at that. 74, mostly sunny. That's all I needed to do.
That's right.
Don't have to worry about anything else.
Yep.
When we come back, I want to get your take on the defense against Dylan Gabriel. How can they make it a tough night for the Ducks quarterback? We'll examine that next, right here on the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show, right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Every hockey player dreams of a hat trick.
And if you've ever seen one, you know it's a thrill when the hats hit the ice.
And now, it's hats off to Honda Marysville, because this season, every time a Blue Jacket scores a hat trick at Nationwide Arena,
Honda Marysville will give one lucky fan a 2-year lease on a new Honda Civic Sport on the spot.
So come to a game and cheer us on. Who knows?
A new car from Honda Marysville might be closer than you think.
Official rules at HondaMarysville.com/hat trick. Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to The Fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to The Fan's HD3 and save The Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
Through the magic of modern technology, I'm coming to you from inside your garbage disposal.
Hey, what are you doing down here?
I was telling folks about Who are you?
Garbage disposal monster. I eat the things people put in here. Nom 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 nom.
Oh?
Sometimes I get sick.
I was just about to say, the pros who knows from Apex are brilliant at fixing garbage disposals. You're really a monster?
Look here. All right, these teeth, they're all busted.
Oh.
They're for food, not forks. You hear up there?
Gee, what else?
Crazy noises like clingety, 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 clingety. Call Apex Pros.
Sure.
Sometimes I smell funny.
I didn't want to draw attention to it.
Call Apex Pros.
And what's going on now there?
Smoking. It's a bad habit. We're not supposed to smoke.
Well, you heard it straight from the garbage disposal monster. Call the pros who knows. Apex Pros.
Hi, it's Alex, the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Nom, 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 nom.
Hey friends, Beamer here. You know what sold me on Awaken 180 weight loss? Losing 12 pounds in my first week. I mean, wouldn't you be all in after that? But you know what's really got me completely hooked? I'm now down 19 pounds in just 2 weeks. 19 pounds. Look, when I started the program, I knew that I needed fast results to stick with any program I was going to do. And I thought, hey, if I can lose 5 or 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that's going to be a win. Well, I blew that out of the water, all thanks to Awaken 180. I'm not the only one who did it. Our good friend Austin Ward, he dropped 17 pounds in his first 2 weeks, 50 pounds overall. The results we're having, they are real, and we did it without meds. We did it by eating to lose weight with the coaching to ensure we lose weight every week. More importantly, to ensure that we enjoy the process. I, for one, certainly am. I mean, who wouldn't want someone else to do the work? They plan out the food you like, work around your schedule, and you, well, you lose weight. Simple as that. I dropped 19 pounds in 2 weeks. It's that easy. Do what we all did. Start your year out with a solution for weight loss. All at awaken180weightloss.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman wakes up every morning next to a bottle of gin and says, "Today's a good day for a Buckeye victory." Well, today he happens to be right. You're listening to the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
All right, Ohio State, Oregon, part 2. This is the one that counts the most. Single elimination. Winner advances. We all know that. Ohio State, a short favorite, -2.5. Over-under has ticked up a little bit to 56. It was 55, considering there were 61 points scored in the first game. That shows, Andy, our thought about maybe a hair of regression one way or the other. Although Ohio State, their offense looked amazing against Tennessee, but it was Tennessee and it was here. And now it's Oregon. But it's not like Oregon's defense that we felt that much better about Oregon's defense than we did Tennessee's. But Ohio State seems to have found themselves, their confidence, their aggression, the coaching, all of it. And now they got to do it against this team, the number one team in the country, a team that's beaten them. It's out in the Rose Bowl, but here we go. Hopefully, this is the no-regret path. This is who Ohio State likes to be. When Ohio State loses a game they shouldn't lose, their doubt casts over them a little bit. And when you take a ton of talent and you attach some doubt, the recipe usually is pretty good, especially with Ohio State. So now, to your point, Ohio State is never truly an underdog. They just have too much talent to be, quote, an underdog. And they aren't tonight. But I think after that Michigan game, people either thought they were overhyped or inconsistent, whatever you want to attach to them, that they couldn't be truly trusted. And now it took one game for everyone to say, trust them. They're back. And so here they are.
It's funny how that works, huh?
Right? At National, they're the best team in the land.
Yeah.
But if they are the best team in the land, then they got to prove it tonight, and we'll see if they can. I think the biggest part about this, and Tim mentioned it earlier, Hancock at deep safety, Downs multiple positions. We've seen what he can do. The quarterbacks against Downs, they haven't been able to do anything against him. Now, we're talking about Purdue and Michigan and Indiana and Tennessee, but both safeties been very good. I'm wondering how you go ahead and slow down this Ducks offense. How do you tweak, Knowles, that 4-2-5 scheme with cover one? You were talking about it earlier. What issues can they present tonight for Gabriel, even if they don't get home? Because they got home against Tennessee, but they weren't getting home against Gabriel before. So what do you think he will do tonight to be aggressive against him, yet not be beaten with explosive plays? It's a tough balance.
Oh, very tough. I think the biggest challenge that Jim Knowles has is being able to play some coverages, like cover one, man-to-man, or even straight man, and not give up that big play. So that comes down to a little bit of coaching, having the guys covering, and even having the coaches convey this as you're preparing for the game, saying, look, if we're in man-to-man, and we're on the outside, give these receivers the credit that they deserve, and don't play so tight. Don't bite on that first move. It's okay if we give up a 7-yard out or a curl or a hitch, whatever, even a 12-yard, but we can't give up the 30-yard deep ball again and again and again and again and again. So I think it's obviously keeping Gabriel on his toes as far as what coverages are, where pressure's coming from. So I can see some zone blitzing. I don't see a ton of man blitzing happening, but try to really keep Gabriel guessing coverage, pressure, and having the Ohio State defense be versatile enough and be aware enough of game situation and when you have to, I guess, press to make a play, or otherwise, just force Gabriel to be patient, take 2 or 3 yards and have him, dink and dunk around the field. Some teams don't like to do that, period.
He's got a lot of experience.
Yeah. It'll be a challenge, but that's kind of how I foresee it.
Yeah. It is weird because the big play that broke their back to some degree was the 27-yarder where JT just crashed. And you and I have talked about that all year on whose responsibility that is about either reading the quarterback or is my ability to go to the quarterback and make him pitch or not. He didn't. And then all of a sudden he was out the gate and scored. We'll bring in Tim May as well from Pasadena. Tim, let's switch to the other side of the ball and get your feeling on this. These man and counter run concepts have hurt the Ducks on the ground all season. These are schemes that Ohio State likes to use and have been using a lot lately. But what we noticed in the Tennessee game was getting Travion involved in the passing game again. Do we see that again tonight?
Well, yep. You have to see it against a team of this magnitude. It's number one team in the country. Real quick, I want to add something about Dylan Gabriel. If you want to limit where he scrambles, when he scrambles, because you always want a left-hander going to his right. When he bails. So those are all the things you have to keep in mind, including Tyleik Williams and that group. You've got to know this guy will step up and go right up the middle on you if things collapse. So you have to be aggressive, but warily aggressive, because you don't want him running right past you. So he presents a lot of problems your average quarterback doesn't in that regard. But going back to Ohio State, their best running plays against Tennessee were these, for want of another term, slants off left tackle and right tackle, where you're not necessarily attacking head on, but you've got a guy pulling, or you've got a guy getting a little seal. Luke Montgomery had one of the great blocks in that game where he just came from the left side and just crushed the guy to the right and opened up a seam for Travion Henderson. But it wasn't a run straight at him kind of play. You understand what I'm saying? But you're still attacking the line of scrimmage. Those are the kind of things that Oregon might be better defending against. But boy, if you pop one, they go a long way. And then you want your running back, like Travion's second touchdown against Tennessee. He hit the middle of the field. They finally tried the middle. They only tried the middle of the field about 3 times. He hit in the middle. There was a clog. He bounced left and then straight up the field. That's something a defense can't they can prepare for it, but when it comes, it should be a lightning bolt like that one and not something that's prescribed. And, boy, it's tough to cover lightning bolts, when they just come out of the blue. And so bottom line is you have to have guys who are capable of that, of making a play when the play's not there, if you follow my drift, which is why Will Howard will be so important in this game of scrambling when it's just right, when there's just that beautiful green grass in front of him. By the way, this is one of the most beautiful days for a Rose Bowl I've ever covered. But you just gotta have guys who make plays like Jeremiah Smith. Yeah, he's lethal when he catches it. He's even more lethal after the catch, just like Emeka Egbuka is, just like Carnell Tate is. So those guys have to make some plays for you. And I think Ohio State will take whatever it gets. But like Andy was talking about earlier in the show, you almost have to predicate things on you've got one of the best, if not the best, overall passing attacks in the country. Don't beat your head against a brick wall. Do what you do best and let it set up other things.
Yeah, we were calling for that, especially in the Michigan game, and it certainly didn't work out that way. And then once they got in a tight battle, they called it too tight. No, you're right.
We weren't calling the plays. They were.
That's right. That's right. And to a big degree, they had a lot more to lose than we did, and so unfortunately they fell victims to that, and it led to the choking that happened against Michigan. But now it feels like, Tim, that this Ohio State team has reasons now to flip the switch. They get in the tournament. They get a great game against Tennessee. I know they're not forgetting about Michigan, but the focus is no longer there, and which is great, because they want to be the last team standing, and that's all that matters. Yeah. But they can maybe take some things personally going into this game, that they do have to come from the 8th seed. They do have to technically go across the country and win. Like, they can galvanize now, and usually when that happens, they can take it up several notches, and it feels like Ohio State can do that tonight. They got in the backfield. They sacked Tennessee. They had 7 tackles for loss. But like I was asking Andy, I can't expect that tonight against Oregon, but I do think that if they can somehow affect Gabriel more than they did, then certainly it's going to do wonders for him.
Yeah, I mean, and Oregon's got a really good running back, as we all know from that first game. But this is the second chance romance tour for Ohio State, because obviously they got a second chance for a home victory. And instead of that sour taste they had in their mouth about losing their last home game against Michigan, they got another chance at an SEC team right out of the gate, reminiscent of playing Georgia a couple of years ago. And this time they flattened a vaunted, in quote, SEC team. Tonight you get another chance at a team you lost to by 1 point at their place, where you know all the mistakes you made. You can't play being afraid to make mistakes, but just almost strategically what you did wrong in that game, and you were still in it until a bizarre last 45 seconds of that game. And I don't know what you learned from that, except don't get yourself in that position anymore. But the bottom line is that we all know the offensive pass interference call against Jeremiah Smith changed everything, because Ohio State was going right down the field. It was a sight to behold. So Jeremiah Smith has learned from that, but he's peaked, P-I-Q-U-E-D, I think. He's peaked for this one, the rematch, because he says he's thought about that play every day since then. So you've got a lot of emotion going into this one, but also that idea of setting the record straight. We'll see if it happens.
Going to do a battle again with Dylan Gabriel for Will Howard would be very special tonight for him. Our keys to the game we will have when we come back, and certainly at a memorable stadium at Ohio State has broken out the memorable helmets. We'll tell you about that next. Game day coverage sponsored by Reichert Chevrolet on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Toyota-thon is on, and it's the perfect time to wrap up the year with a new RAV4, America's best-selling SUV. Now through January 6th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 24 or 25 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes RAV4 Prime. Or lease a gas-powered 25 RAV4 LE for $299 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax title and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne,
former Ohio State football players. We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors.
Contact us today for the best service in town.
Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Get ready for the day with 10 TV News this morning.
Our 10 weather impact forecast is easy to understand and focus on when, where, and how the weather will impact you.
Time saver traffic, getting you to work on time.
Plus, the latest breaking news from overnight and what's trending right now.
We're always looking to keep you and your family safe, to save you money and keep you healthy.
This is Morning News on your time. It's time for 10 TV News this morning. Live and streaming on 10 TV Plus.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at ColumbusSubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
During the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event, buy a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 1.9% for up to 48 months. And Subaru will donate $250 for every vehicle leased or purchased this month.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 12/31/24.
Morning Juice.
A lot of people don't really feel all that confident drinking before 11 o'clock in the morning. That's part of the problem.
Most people frown against drinking before the sun comes up.
Morning Juice is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
what's it like to have a yard?
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
am I ready to buy a home?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you, prepared to talk about everything you need to know when applying for a mortgage, so you can try to turn those backyard dreams into reality. Paul?
Yes?
Question. Are you a hammock person?
You know, I think I might be.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. NMLS 399797, Equal Housing Lender.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Make the most of your holidays with the Kroger app. You can enjoy over $600 in digital coupons every week. Get access to low prices and earn fuel points to save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. The Kroger app makes it easy to save this holiday season. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
And right now, check out this deal on bone-in whole pork shoulder. Just $1.49 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my team at Valley Ford of Columbus. 2025 is here, and as a real Valley Ford customer, I urge you to get online to see all the New Year savings at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. Ford F-150, Bronco Sports, Mustang, Mach-E's. Valley has the massive selection to choose from, plus the lease and financing deals that have you rolling into 2025 with huge savings. Go to valleyfordofcolumbus.com today for all the details. That's valleyfordofcolumbus.com.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. Happy New Year's Day and happy game day, everybody. Today it's Ohio State taking on Oregon at the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. Kickoff in Pasadena is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Our network coverage with Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, Matt Andrews, and Skip Mossick will get started at 3:30 right here on The Fan. Some breaking news here as far as the rest of the college football playoff goes. Tonight's Sugar Bowl game between Notre Dame and Georgia is being postponed 24 hours due to the attack in New Orleans that happened earlier this morning. That game will be now played tomorrow night at 8:45. Elsewhere, the quarterfinals got started last night in Glendale. That's where Penn State beat Boise State 31-14 in the Fiesta Bowl. And we have one other game today ahead of Ohio State and Oregon right now at the Peach Bowl. Texas leads Arizona State 17-3 at halftime. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, your F-150 headquarters and the official dealership of Carnell Tate.
You're listening to the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Today's keys to the game are sponsored by Toyota.
Brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, back at it, Fan Tailgate Show. Anthony Rothman, the former All-American linebacker, Andy Katzenmoyer, Tim May out in Pasadena. Ohio State bringing back the rose stripe for this year's Rose Bowl on the helmet. So it's the scarlet stripe, the middle with the roses superimposed in there. You still have the Archie 50 Heisman anniversary sticker on the back left, and they'll look sharp. And why wouldn't they? The Rose Bowl for Ohio State, it's historic. They've had success there. Obviously, you were a part of the big one against Arizona State in the comeback at the end and all of that. And this one has even more attached to it because this is do or die. It's that part of the season. I talked about in the first game against Oregon how it was going to be very key to try to affect a 5-year starter at quarterback. And it's difficult to do that in Dylan Gabriel. He made his mistakes early in the season in the red zone. He's kind of cleaned that up a little bit. Those are big mistakes. Anytime you take points off the board is huge. But I thought in the beginning of the season, all those teams, even Idaho and Boise, had very good success against them early on when Oregon hadn't found themselves yet. All brought pressure, Andy, from different angles and different looks. I just think it's so important. You may not get to him, but you have to change it up.
Right.
You can't be predictable against him. He's just too crafty. He's too experienced. I do think that Jordan Birch, the senior, the defensive end coming back from the hammy, that's a massive piece for them against an offensive line for Ohio State. How this offensive line that's patched itself together, they have to hold up. That's not saying much, but they have. And that's why if they don't tonight, it'll be such a key to everything because they have been a big part of giving Will Howard time. He had time against Tennessee, and they have found themselves. So I don't know. It's fairly obvious, but I think it's the biggest challenge of the game is how adding Birch back to the equation for Oregon, how that affects the edges in Ohio State's offensive line and giving Will time to throw. You heard Paul Keels and you heard Jim Lachey say it. You know, you can't just sit back there. You got to get the ball out quickly, and Ohio State does that. They get the ball to the perimeter. I think that'll be a big plan tonight. How much does Ohio State have to protect their offensive line tonight, protect themselves? Or do they feel confident enough that they can play them straight up and call the game they want to call?
That's a great question. I think that my guess is, Chip Kelly will come out and have a number of different formations, personnel groupings, plays, and just see how Oregon will respond, not knowing, because the first matchup, they didn't have their best defensive end available. So this is somewhat of a makeshift offensive line right now. You have guys in different spots, only two true starters from the first time that they played. One guy's, moved out of tackle now. So I get, and then I think Ohio State will adjust accordingly based on whether they bring a tight end, whether they bring in two tights to kind of help shore up that pass protection, to make sure that, Howard can deliver the ball to the perimeter players as he should.
Yeah, no,
Period.
I think that's the right answer. I mean, they're going to have to balance this. You can't just throw caution to win and say we're fixed, we're fine. I mean, maybe they could at the beginning and adjust as they go, but him coming back into the game, Birch, I think, is a big deal. Tim, I'll bring you back into the equation as well. This offensive line has kept these national title hopes alive. It's been nothing short of amazing, I think, for a lot of people. I thought when Simmons went down, I think a lot of people thought the season was wrecked. They have found a way to coach it up and develop it up, and guys have taken on that challenge. How do you feel about it tonight?
Well, it's interesting because they faced what a lot of people thought was a formidable test from Tennessee, with the Pierce kid there on the end, and that defensive front. A lot of people thought that was the best defensive front overall in the Southeastern Conference. Wow, did they pass that test? I mean, the interesting thing here, this is, as I wrote about a week and a half ago, this is a seventh iteration of this offensive line from the standpoint of who's playing and maybe who's starting compared to the beginning of the year. And the Cervell grew up very fast in this season early because he had to take Donovan Jackson's spot the first couple of games. I'm not going through the whole litany, but the movement of Donovan Jackson at the left tackle, to me, was genius because he's definitely worthy. When you figure Josh Simmons got hurt, and then the next game, his replacement, Zen Mikulski, got hurt. Wow. But I was talking with Justin Fry about this a couple of days ago, and he, like he said, you just go with the next guy, and the next man up mentality, obviously. But that just shows you maybe the depth we've been maybe understating when it comes to the Ohio State offensive line has been on display. But the way they use those three guards against Tennessee, I would call it, genius is not the right term, but when they started Cervell and Chavola at left guard and right guard respectively, and brought in Luke Montgomery to the left and moved Cervell over to right, and then they went back to the original. I mean, kept those guys fresh, even kept the guys that were blocking kind of bewildered. But, I always believe, and being around coaches and football players a lot over the last 50 years. A guy like Jordan Birch, you don't let him dictate unless it becomes middle of the game. He's capable of that. The first thing you do, you almost want to test this guy. I mean, we talk about his pass rushing prowess, but does he like to do the other stuff? Hold his ground, etc. Play his gap responsibility. First off, you probably start out with just like Josh Fryer blocking him by himself just to see what's up, and then move to maybe chipping or even helping with a tight end. That's the evolution of the game within the game, and it'll be so curious. I keep telling people, watch the game from the inside out, man. What's going on between the offensive and defensive lines dictates everything, especially as the game goes on. And extended drives are your friend in a game like this because you want to wear people out if you can a little bit. So, but you don't really know what's going to happen until you see it happen, right? And the thing that really stood out against that Tennessee front was Ohio State had a good plan going in and then changed some things up as the game progressed. And that's what you got to do in this one, especially against the number one team in the country. They're not number one by a fluke. I mean, they've got really good coaching and really good players on both sides of the ball. But Ohio State does too.
No doubt. And I think you brought up a good point about Tennessee's front four was not getting pressure. In fact, they were backing out of their blitzes on their blitz look on third medium, Andy. Yep. Will Howard was picking their zone apart.
Yep.
So Luke Montgomery had the pancake block that sprung Trey for his big run. Now, he beat Will Brooks, a senior, with ease. That made it 21-0, and the landslide was on. But this offensive line has come to play. It's a big challenge. They should feel confident. They started to gain confidence when they went to Penn State and did it against an athletic defense that wasn't overpowering, but they were very athletic. And now they'll have to do it again tonight against Tennessee. I loved Ohio State's creativity against Tennessee. It's what we were all clamoring for and calling for. I love the fact they were throwing the ball on first down. There was a lot of play action on first down. I think it caught Tennessee off guard.
Right.
Maybe they thought they'd be a little conservative. But, I mean, everything that I saw in that game against Tennessee, I don't know if you can bring that exact replica to the table against Oregon because, like you said, it's a balance. You want to be 3 and out too often against that team. You want to limit possessions. Tim even called for it. Like, longer drives certainly help, but you don't want to get too conservative. It makes it a great chess match tonight.
Yeah, but I think Ohio State playing conservative is not their best brand of football. I think they should just open it up. I'm not saying do whatever similar game plan as far as air the ball out from short to medium to long passes, which they did against Tennessee. That will open up. That will drop the safeties back. That will open up more running lanes for both backs.
You called for it early. I mean, that when Jeremiah was coming behind the line for that quick pitch and catch in space, that's stuff that we hadn't seen a lot of. And that came on first down. A lot of play action, a lot of misdirection. I'll have to bring that to the table tonight. We'll come back with a final check-in with Paul Keels. And, of course, our score predictions. Keys to the game sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And we'll come back with a final check-in with the man on the mic, Paul Keels from Pasadena. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches, and our new hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all of the best-in-class equipment we've always had, with most clubs open 24 hours, so you can work out your way on your time. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 10th. See Home Club for details.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. To inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns, call 614-232-2222. Or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
The Jackets are back at Nationwide for a battle with the Red Wings. Live fan coverage starts Thursday night at 6:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Your home for Blue Jackets hockey, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Combat falling interest rates now. Lock in a 7-month certificate from Kemba Financial Credit Union and earn up to 4.5% annual percentage yield. Visit Kemba.org for details. Hurry! This exceptional rate offer expires December 31st, 2024. APY equals annual percentage yield. Restrictions apply. $500 minimum deposit required to open and earn stated APY and $250,000 maximum deposit. Advantage status required. Federally insured by NCUA.
Through the magic of modern technology, I'm coming to you from inside your garbage disposal.
Hey, what are you doing down here?
I was telling folks about Who are you?
Garbage disposal monster. I eat the things people put in here. Nom 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 nom.
Oh?
Sometimes I get sick.
I was just about to say, the pros who knows from Apex are brilliant at fixing garbage disposals. You're really a monster?
Look here. These teeth?
Yeah?
They're all busted.
Oh.
They're for food, not forks. You hear up there?
Gee, what else?
Crazy noises like clingety, 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 clingety. Call Apex Pros.
Sure.
Sometimes I smell funny.
I didn't want to draw attention to it.
Call Apex Pros.
And what's going on now there?
Smoking. It's a bad habit. We're not supposed to smoke.
Well, you heard it straight from the garbage disposal monster. Call the pros who knows. Apex Pros.
Hi, it's Alex, the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Nom 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 nom.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my team at Valley Ford of Columbus. 2025 is here, and as a real Valley Ford customer, I urge you to get online to see all the New Year savings at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. Ford F-150, Bronco Sports, Mustang, Mach-E's. Valley has the massive selection to choose from, plus the lease and financing deals that have you rolling into 2025 with huge savings. Go to valleyfordofcolumbus.com today for all the details. That's valleyfordofcolumbus.com.
Keep on trucking with Valley Ford of Columbus.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Happy New Year. Today, it is going to be cloudy, cold, and dreary. We will see a few snow flurries from time to time. Today's high will be around 35. Tonight, we drop it on down below freezing. Then we get a little bit more sunshine on your Thursday with a high of 34. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
It's game day on the Fan.
Sponsored by Riker Chevy.
Up early, stay late. Don't change the channel. You're home for the Buckeyes, the Fan. Are you ready for another Buckeye victory? Because we sure are. You're listening to the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your flagship home for Ohio State football, the Fan.
All right, inching closer to the call. Man on the mic is our friend Paul Keels, the voice of the Buckeyes. It is sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. Big Daddy, what's coming up?
Well, coming up, Anthony, as always, we'll hear from both head coaches, Ryan Day from Ohio State and Oregon's Dan Lanning, Jim Knowles, Ohio State's defensive coordinator. We'll talk about what it is that they have to do and have to do better in taking on the Oregon Ducks today. Matt Andrews will talk with Ohio State defensive lineman Ty Hamilton about the way they've played as of late. We will also hear from former Buckeye wide receiver DeVere Posey, who was part of the 2010 Ohio State team that beat Oregon here in the Rose Bowl. Jerry Allen, the longtime play-by-play voice of the Oregon Ducks, will give us a scouting report about what Oregon has done to get to this point. And as always, we will have our award-winning, world-famous Tournament of Roses, Merry New Year, Pair of Deuces, Baker and Poncherello, Spicy Margarita, Duck Soup version of Buckeye Flashback with a guy who deserves extra Buckeye leaves for navigating L.A. traffic the last few days, Skip Mossick. That's what's coming up shortly.
He knows how to do the old Weaveroo. He's got the great experience. Thanks, Paul. Happy New Year to your crew. Have a great call.
Likewise to you guys, too.
Thanks. That is the one and only Paul Keels. Tim will bring you back in here as well. No surprises, I think, tonight. Outside of Josh Simmons, Seth McLaughlin, who we knew have been out. Nobody else that we have to worry about that tweaked themselves in practice or anything you've heard.
No, I mean, the availability report is clean based on there's no one new on it. Let's put it that way. And by the way, at this moment, it feels like about 73 out here. There's just a hint of a breeze, and it's clear blue skies. Magnificent.
Sounds great. Maybe you could have gotten in a few holes there on the Pasadena golf course, or the cars parked all over.
I'm playing tomorrow in Las Vegas, so I'm good.
Oh, that's good. We're happy. We're happy you're covered. That's nice.
Right.
That makes us feel all warm and fuzzy. But it is electric, as you know. You've been there. You're there now. It is one of those stadiums that you don't have to manufacture any energy or atmosphere at all. It's built right in there. But it is about this. It is about this game. Ohio State was the favorite in the first game and lost. They're the favorite again for this game. I know that the spread is very short, but considering they only lost by a point last time, the spread obviously could come into play tonight. But we talked about the keys to this, and I mean, I think both offenses are truly going to test, Andy, the defensive backs of each other's teams. They have to. There was a lot of grabbing, holding. They want to see what kind of game they're going to call tonight. It's going to be a heavily passed game tonight. So what's your feeling on that? Do both teams come out very aggressive, or is it kind of controlled aggression? We've talked about this throughout the show. Is it the start we saw against Tennessee, which is pass, or is it a combo play?
I think for Ohio State, it'll be pass. If DBs are playing off, it'll be short passes to flats and to backs, that kind of stuff, similar to what they did against Tennessee. And then as you know, the corners move up and the safeties move up, that's when you can get over the top and hit something deep. So I think that's be similar game plan for probably both teams, considering the weapons they each have. But it's just a matter, it'd be the chess match for the coordinators, defensive coordinators, to give the corners and the secondaries, enough support and enough spacing to stop the deep ball, but also have enough, intermediate coverage to make sure you're not giving up just easy passes.
Tim, both teams, if they win the toss, they are deferring, or would they take it?
I think in a game of this magnitude, you want the ball to begin the second half no matter what. So, I mean, you got to play that percentage, number one. Number two, just like I hope people didn't get the wrong idea when I said, run some long, see if you can get a longer drive to wear out their defensive front. I think Ohio State hit on the button last game. I mean, you come out doing what you do best and probably better than almost anybody in the country is throwing the ball to a fleet of ridiculous receivers. People a lot of times forget about Emeka Egbuka. He is so huge. He's been so huge in a lot of games. And then you've got the best freshman, maybe the best receiver in the country, in Jeremiah Smith. And then Carnell Tate, everybody just keeps thinking if he hadn't dropped that one slant against Michigan there in the fourth quarter, how different things would have been. But that's life. That's spilt milk. But he is quite capable, as we all know, of also taking over a game. That's where Ohio State's advantage is I think more – although Oregon's loaded at that position too, but I think they have more competent big play receivers, including their tight ends, across the board than Oregon does. You got to play to your strength, but you got to run the ball too, man. You got to make play action matter, and your quarterback's got to get involved. Both of these quarterbacks have got to get involved in the run game because that's where you're going to get those hidden bonus yards.
Yeah, listen, they had 9 catches combined against Michigan, the two guys he mentioned, Jeremiah and Emeka. They had 19 against Oregon. Yeah. So it's pretty obvious now to everyone that this whole conservative game plan is out the window unless you get a big lead and then you manage the lead. And that's just how situational coaching is done. But it's not a kind of feel your way game. I don't think it is. I think nobody wants to be playing. What's that?
Big plays are going to decide this one. They always do.
Yeah. And listen, there were how many lead changes? There were 3 lead changes in the fourth quarter. Correct. We can expect that again, but it's the explosive plays, Andy, that everyone knows you can't give up.
Right. Well, even Ohio State had 2 turnovers. Or they had 3 turnovers. They recovered 1. You can't expect to go. The likelihood of you having 2 turnovers and you're going to a hostile environment for your first true road test this year as a new team, as they came together, and then they had mistakes, penalties, that kind of stuff. You just can't do that and expect to come out with a win. And they almost did.
You can go. Go ahead, Tim.
The onside kick, as I say, right out of the pages of the script for Waterboy. Line drive. Literally, Oregon stole at least 2 possessions from Ohio State. So those are so valuable in these shortened games now, the way the clock runs and stuff. You can't afford that. But you know what? If it happens, you got to rebound, obviously. I think Ohio State's been proven to be fairly resilient this year. You just had so much of a problem with their play calling choices in the run game against Michigan that you just can't get it out of your head, even though they threw the ball 7 more times than they passed it. They just left stuff on the table, and everybody knew it, and they fixed it in the last game. The key is to pick up from there.
Give me a score, Timmy. Give me a score.
34-24 Ohio State.
Okay, Andy.
Same. Man,
come
Tim,
on.
I swear.
Seriously? All right, I'm not picking the same because that means it won't be at 30-27.
Okay.
Ohio State. All right. Enjoy it, my man. Yeah. Great to have you. Happy and healthy New Year. Bring back a winner. And we'll talk to you this week. Hopefully we'll be getting ready for the Cotton Bowl. All right. For the Big Cat, my man to my right, great job. Jacob, awesome job. In-studio producer, Bodie Wells on the desk. They'll take you through tonight. Keep it locked here for Buckeye football on The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Toyotathon is on. The perfect time to shop for a new SUV with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through January 6th, get any new Highlander or Grand Highlander with 5.99 APR financing up to 72 months, including hybrid models, with $1,657 per thousand borrowed, subject to approved credit through TFS. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. At Key, we're all about helping our neighbors. As your bank, we understand that we have both the ability and the responsibility to help our neighbors thrive. Whether they're trying to buy a car to take them to their new job, or tackle debt that feels unmanageable, or simply trying to do more with what they have, Key Bank is there to meet them in that moment. Key Bank opens doors.
All credit products are subject to credit approval. Key Bank, member FDIC.
Every hockey player dreams of a hat trick.
And if you've ever seen one, you know it's a thrill when the hats hit the ice.
And now, it's hats off to Honda Marysville, because this season, every time a Blue Jacket scores a hat trick at Nationwide Arena,
Honda Marysville will give one lucky fan a 2-year lease on a new Honda Civic Sport on the spot.
So come to a game and cheer us on. Who knows?
A new car from Honda Marysville might be closer than you think.
Official rules at HondaMarysville.com/hat trick.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches, and our new hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all of the best-in-class equipment we've always had, with most clubs open 24 hours, so you can work out your way on your time. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 10th. See Home Club for details.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron, I invented 5 new ways to say, we come through for you when you need us to.
Do we need more ways to say it?
Get Eco.
ECO. When your toilet won't flush, we come in a rush.
Get Eco.
ECO. Want a ceiling fan install? We come when you call.
Get Eco.
ECO. When the temperature is unpleasant, we fly like a pheasant.
You were kind of reaching for that one.
But I didn't reach as far as Puerto Rico.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We're standing by and ready to fly.
Oh, that's a good one.
Get Eco.
ECO. When you're in a sweat, we come in a jet.
Reaching again.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When your drain has a clog?
We'll sled with a dog.
No.
We'll surf on a log.
No.
We'll run, not jog.
Get Eco.
ECO. We do it right at the speed of light.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. We come through for you when you need us to.
Get Eco.